In order to understand the background of the transition from the Augustan period to the Romantic period, you must understand the history of the Restoration, the Age of Enlightenment, and eventually the Romantic period. There was a religious conflict between the Catholics and the Protestants, and also among the Protestants and themselves. The subject in question was the power of the Church. The Restoration began in 1660 when Charles II was restored to the throne. Being a Catholic himself, the Church gained more power and made their way to the highest part of the government. The Parliament wanted Protestant rule and worked secretly to get Prince William and his wife Mary, who were both Protestant, to take the throne. This led to the Glorious Revolution, which established the Protestant religion and limited the power of the king. With a new sense of social stability, the people now were in a place where the interests of science and the arts began to flourish, and the power of the Church diminished. They were now entering the Age of Reason, also known as the Augustan Age. This time period focused on empirical ideas that were considered to be the belief that one can obtain knowledge through observing and measuring things in society, and by applying reason to observation. With these ideas, literature began to look at human behavior, giving it a constant model to follow, based on rules considered appropriate. Writers followed nature, which was the classic writing from Homer, Virgil, and Horace. Some important writers at this time were Alexander Pope, Samuel Johnson, Thomas Gray, Oliver Goldsmith, George Crabbe, and Jonathan Swift. Looking at Alexander Pope's essay on criticism, you can see the Augustan ideals in action. Those rules of old discovered, not devised, are nature still, but nature methodized. Nature, like liberty, is but restrained by the same laws which first herself ordained. The Romantic period starting in 1785 and ending in 1830. This period is also marked as beginning in 1798 with William Wordsworth and Samuel Coleridge, ending in 1832. It was the age of the Industrial Revolution and the French Revolution, which shifted society. More people were moving away from the country into the rapidly growing cities, which led to a more modern society. Literature at this time shifted as well. The poet had a better sense of the world, rather than the previous, almost mechanic poet from the Augustan period. Shifting away from science and knowledge to a world where imagination played a major role, and nature was looked at as the beauty of the earth. Poets like William Wordsworth, Samuel Coleridge, William Blake, Percy Shelley, John Keats, and Lord Byron all encompass the Romantic ideas. In the poem Tables Turn by William Wordsworth, one can see the criticism of the practices during the Age of Reason. Let nature be your teacher. She has a world of ready wealth, our minds and hearts to bless, spontaneous wisdom breathed by health, truth breathed by cheerfulness. One impulse from a vernal wood may teach you more of man, of moral evil, and of good, than all the sages can. From an age of science and reason to an age of deep feeling and imagination, this is what marks the transition between the Augustan Age and the Romantic Age.